Welcome back to Smash It Heads Podcast. This is episode 57. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my best friend Jake.
Hey, how come I do that?
What?
And that's it. Jake's the only one here.
You're the worst.
I had my hands raised in excitement.
In a very
And you started
strange way.
giggling. You just started giggling out of nowhere.
That was you, Han.
No, you giggled first.
No, you definitely did first.
I was trying to hold it in, and then I accidentally exhaled really hard into the mic.
So, if you guys are listening to this, we just recorded episode 2 of our Patreon exclusive show.
Rock of Love.
No, that is not our show.
That's Brett Michaels' exclusive show.
And VH1. Our show, Watching Heads, which we are watching through Rock of Love.
Right.
We just did episode 2.
Amazing.
And I watched it back when it aired originally, 2007.
I'd never seen it.
Hannah's never seen it. Jake has watched it multiple times.
That's right.
Because he's in love with Brett
Well,
Michaels.
it's my namesake.
You love Brett Michaels so much, you changed your middle name to Brett.
That was my mom's doing.
She knew how much you loved it, and so that was like a Christmas gift.
It's like you were born, and she's like, oh, I just know his idol is going to be Brett Michaels.
They were so close that him and her were on a first name basis.
Yeah.
That's
So,
what it was.
yeah, we're watching through Rock of Love because Jake's middle name is Brett, and he's named literally after Brett Michaels, and so it just seemed appropriate.
Not a lie, by the way.
Yeah, it's not a lie.
Not a lie.
So we're watching through that. It's not a reaction podcast, but it is a watch along. Like, we're telling you when we're starting it, giving you live commentary on it, because we haven't pre-watched it other than Jake did a few months ago. But it's 2 episodes in, and it's pretty wild so far. So again, if you want to check that out, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. You can see all the different tiers on there. We also do a Patreon exclusive podcast called Redemption House, which is kind of an off topic, but we do also do Q&As and challenge related stuff. So,
And if you've heard us talk about Cousin Jake,
yes,
we may
we're going to try to get him on the Patreon. podcast.
we may have an exclusive there on Patreon with Cousin Jake.
We're trying. We've told a lot of stories about him.
And it's time to get his take.
Yeah.
It's just time.
We're pushing for that. There's been a lot of pushback from him, but we're going to see if we can get it done.
Well, he thinks since he has 3 kids, he ain't got any time, and I didn't, look.
You got time. We'll come to you.
We have 2 dogs. We have time.
And you had 3.
We did have 3.
Shout out to Job.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Is he dead?
He is dead.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's why we don't bring it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Well, just so since everyone's
I had
listening now,
no idea.
I wasn't going to tell the story.
we adopted a dog from the Humane Society on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Eve.
Were on our way
To a movie.
watch the Sing movie with all of our nieces and nephews. We got there really early. We had time to kill, so we went next door to the Humane Society. To PetSmart, and the Humane Society was there with a lot of dogs. And we were like,
we knew someone working there, and this dog was really nice and like the great size. It's a pit mix that was like 35, 40 pounds.
He
and
was so sweet.
He was very sweet,
and so sad,
very calm, and so we kind of impulsively adopted him. They didn't tell us until later that he had like very chronic skin issues and other health problems, which that wasn't a big deal. We did all we could with him, medicated, baths, and took care of him. The problem was he was okay for a little while, but then he started like hoarding toys and stuff, and he like would get them and like shove them further and further back in his throat to the point where he was like swallowing stuff. And he bit me a couple times, not on purpose.
But he did.
He did.
Bit a couple times. He bit at me, but never really.
Oh, he got me. He broke skin on me. He did. He was just. He thought we were taking stuff away from him because he grew up in a shelter his whole life,
never had a toy.
Which is a very sad story.
Yes, it was so pitiful, and I mean, we had 2 emergency room visits for him.
1 for him. Yeah.
I thought it was 2 for him.
No, it was 1, but he basically, we were at a dog park one day, and he bit off the top of a very rubber molded toy.
It was not one that we brought. It was one.
No, it was ours. It was 1. I promise.
He got a hold of another one that, like, there's a bin of toys just at our park. If you didn't bring a toy or didn't have one, you can take one out of the bin and play with your dog. And, like, a lot of times people don't pick them back up. They just leave them out, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's for the dogs.
The problem was people would want to play with him because he loved playing fetch. And when they were trying to get the toys back, he would like snap. So it was at the point we were going to have him in a muzzle like at all times because we couldn't trust him because he would just get him in. I guess he was just paranoid that we were going to take him away.
And that he would never get him back.
Yeah, we spent like $1,000 in medical bills in like 2 months.
$1,000 that we did not have.
Yeah, and so finally we just had to contact the Humane Society and be like, listen, here's what's happening. And they're like, you've got to bring him back. And so we brought him back, and
we thought that they would just keep him there because they'd been taking care of him for like 3 years at this point. He was like their baby.
Turns out he continued those aggressive tendencies, and they had to put him down because they were afraid he was going to bite someone.
Someone else.
Yeah, he was a sweet dog. He had demodectic mange, which that was like, again, we could deal with that. It was just like he was going to have to live in a muzzle essentially because he would just find anything on the ground and just like try to swallow it. And like we went in and had like x-rays and emergency surgeries prepared and ended up not doing it, but it was, again, it was a lot. So great. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well,
yeah, Jake. I mean, I've never literally cried over a dog, but until then. So thanks.
I'll tell you what.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I'll tell you what. Out of respect for Job, how about 5 seconds of silence?
Welcome back to Smash and Dad's podcast. No.
Okay.
He's he was named Job because we had Buster and they were named after Arrested Development because they were brothers. But
Right.
Again, it was a sad situation all around, but we made the best of it as we could. We didn't know they were going to put him down.
We
but
had no idea.
It wasn't because of that. It was because after he turned again. It's a situational thing.
Well, you know what? This episode will be in memory.
Okay.
Of
In
Job.
memoriam.
Memoriam,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't even know how to transition out of this.
Take us in, Zach.
That's
well-
a really weird turn.
So,
for
hey
time.
guys, we're watching Free Agents episode 6.
Amen.
If you haven't been watching along so far. By the way, I don't think I've said it in a couple weeks. We made a video. I made a video specifically about how to watch this. It's on our Twitter. I'm going to post it again just so if you need to know how to watch Free Agents, I show you a free way to do it on the laptop, but you also can watch it on Amazon Prime. I think it's under Prime Hits, and it's like $5.99 for a month, and there's a 7-day trial. It's got a bunch of challenge seasons on there. So you can do that. We have a lot of people watching along with this. Still a great season. I was just watching it tonight, and I was like, it's such a good format. Because even the daily today, like, it almost would have been better to just go into the draw than to leave it up for fate to be picked to go in. Because then at least you know you're going in.
Yeah.
But here we go. The episode starts, and it basically picks up with Teresa being scared and kind of upset with herself that she convinced everyone to pick Laurel last episode and then completely backed out of it and was like, oh, I picked Jasmine, or whatever she said.
I mean, she openly admitted that she messed up.
I think I said last week, I don't know what her game plan was because it's not like they were going to keep a secret.
Right. I think for her own sake, she would have been better off if she had realized her mistake before actually making the mistake.
She was in the heat of the moment, got ahead. I mean, Teresa was never like masterminded this game or anything.
Wow, she's really proven that.
Well,
here.
but at the very least, Hannah, your girl Devin is still rolling with
Hey,
And
man, this was a good episode for her.
Teresa. Hey, your girl
made
Devin.
up with Teresa. She was like, "Hey, I'm
She's
over
the
it."
bigger person. She forgave, but did not forget, and that's important.
Are you one of those, Han? Do you forgive but you don't forget?
Yes.
All right. Little bit of tidbit there on.
A little bit of tidbit.
Zach learned that real quick.
So we get
God.
into which actually we referenced this on the Rock of Love episode we just did for Watching Heads. They go into a night out, and very clear it's John A's birthday. I think this is
That's the first thing they said.
but I think this is the second birthday of this season where they've gone out to a club called Moby Dick because wasn't Cohutta during this too?
Yep.
So again, shout out Shailene, no birthday.
Stop.
From
Stop it.
Shout out to John A. She got a birthday party.
It just keeps piling up.
Hey, speaking of Devin, I thought it was weird and interesting that Bananas is talking to Devin and telling her just how dadgum impressed he is with her.
I think he said something along the lines of like, "You're going to get me to this final" or something like that.
Yeah, he did say something like
I mean,
that.
I like
And
Devin, but she's not like
I love Devin, but
powerhouse.
I didn't understand what he meant by that.
I think it's the haircut.
His haircut.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's
like
a bad haircut.
it's like it's absorbed like his brain mass. It like expanded through his hair follicles.
It's like Jimmy Neutron, but worse.
What was the bad guy's name in the Green Lantern movie?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
With
it was
Ryan
so
Reynolds?
bad.
That is one of the worst superhero movies.
The trailers and the reviews were so bad that I never even bothered watching it, even though I'm obsessed with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively both.
I don't remember his name,
Hold
but
on.
I know what you're talking.
I
I
got a
know
computer right
exactly
here.
what guy you're talking about.
I got a computer right here.
But I mean, like, he made some good points. He was telling her how, you are secure in who you are. You know what you're good at, which is the politicking, and
She's a good talker.
yeah. And he was like, "I'm just really impressed with you." And I was like, Devin does not get the appreciation that she deserves, and I'm so glad that they showed Bananas like really like puffing her up.
It was Peter Skarsgård, or Peter Sars. It's Skarsgård, isn't it?
Skarsgård.
Well, they spelled it wrong.
Wait, no. It's tricky because there is Skarsgårds and Sarsgaards.
All right. Well, this is Peter Sarsgaard
Oh,
as
that's a
Hector
different
Hammond.
person.
Okay,
Also, Tika Waititi
Taika Waititi.
is in this movie.
I didn't know that.
Tiki Watida?
By the way, shout out to the podcast How Did This Get Made that watch really bad movies and talk about them. They had a movie with Stellan Skarsgård to where they kept calling him Stellar Skateboard, and people to this day keep changing his Wikipedia page to his name saying Stellar Skateboard.
Yeah.
Which that's a great name.
That's an
Yeah.
incredible name.
Yeah,
If people called me that, I would just change my name to that.
Well, I don't think he wants to do that, but yeah, I couldn't remember I hated that movie so much. Your ex-roommate who lied to everyone, which I'm pretty sure I've told that on this podcast before.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
We could tell it again.
He picked that movie for us to go see, and I was like, hate it. I didn't watch a superhero movie after that until like 2016.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
We were already married at that point.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Wow, that's pathetic.
I hated it so much.
Yeah.
There were some good superhero movies that came out before then.
But it
I
was
didn't
such a
say- I
bad
didn't say that.
experience
Yeah.
that you didn't watch.
Yeah,
it.
I was like,
just
I
ruined
don't
you.
trust any of you anymore.
And you stopped trusting this guy in particular,
well,
my
that's
ex-roommate.
yeah, for sure.
Just with everything.
yeah,
Was it the Green Lantern or the Walmart sandwich story?
they're both equally bad offenses.
Yeah, I think the grocery store incident is the worst.
Yeah.
That
Have we told that?
That would be
I
enough to turn
think
me off.
so.
I think we've told it twice, but I love that story.
Do I need to
so
tell it real
much.
quick?
Recap it real quick.
Yes.
All right, so
Always tell this
Jake
story.
Jake lived with a guy.
And let me just say about this guy real quick. I'd met this guy probably about a year and a half prior.
Yeah, we knew him.
And I thought he was one of the coolest dudes I'd ever met.
I
man.
didn't think that.
Oh, I did. I thought this guy was so freaking cool, man.
So,
Like
I've never
just,
thought
just
that.
side note, that should tell you something. If Jake,
I thought he was fine.
Jake, if you think he's the coolest guy you've ever met,
That is a lot of praise.
that
Nah,
boy,
he-
that makes me question your judge character.
If you're asking me to rank my top 10 coolest people I've ever met, he's in there. At the time.
Still?
No. At
Jake.
the time. At the time.
people
good
that
God.
you've met
I'm
in
thinking
person.
like, man, this guy's super cool. But you learn a lot more about people when you live with them. So, proceed.
So this was, I don't know how long you'd been living with him, but Jake and I go to his apartment. I pick you up because we're going to play football,
Yeah.
like 15 minutes down the road at
Right
a park.
beside where I live now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't help anyone else. But
No.
it was like 15 minutes away from where you were living at the time. And we go. We're there a little early before everyone else. And you realized that you had left your gloves because you had, like, receiver gloves.
That's right.
And,
I gotta catch the ball, man. I
yeah,
got them
we all
hands.
had them. But so we're like, oh, well, we're early. Like, hey, I wonder if your roommate, let's call him James. That's not his name. Not even close.
You know what? We referred to the last girl as Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Can we call him Tiger?
Okay, he'll be Tiger.
Okay.
That's a little not easier to remember. But
That's not.
so Tiger is at your apartment. He was at your apartment when we left, correct?
Yes.
How long of a commute is it from the apartment to the football field?
10 minutes, 15 tops.
So it would be 30 minutes total.
It's probably more towards the 10 than 15, but I'm just being lenient there. So we call him like, hey, could you bring Jake's gloves? They're in his room or whatever. And because he was just sitting on the couch not doing anything. And he's like, nah, man, I'm at Walmart. I'm grocery shopping. Okay.
Totally understandable.
How far away is Walmart from your apartment?
7 minutes, something like that.
Somewhere in there.
So we're like, okay, that's fine. We didn't know he was going anywhere. Completely understandable. Jake's the one who forgot his gloves. He doesn't have to do this. So we're early, like I said. We drive another 10, 12 minutes back to their apartment, open the door, and he's sitting there in his boxers and like a tank top and has like a half-eaten sandwich that he was not eating when we left.
No.
And is watching SpongeBob. And we open the door, and he's like, oh, what's up, bro? And
But you can tell he's frazzled.
yeah, because we didn't tell him we were coming to get him.
No.
Yeah, and we're like, hey, I thought you were at Walmart. It's not even possible for you to get there and back in this time.
Yeah, if he's at Walmart, it would still be 7 minutes with traffic, maybe 10 minutes.
Because as soon as I got off the phone with him, we turned right around and went back to my apartment to
Yes.
get my
So
gloves.
even if he left the apartment, if he followed you guys out the door, which he didn't.
He did not.
If he did follow you guys out the door and get to Walmart, that's not enough time to gather all the groceries and get checked out and get back to the house and take his clothes off and put the groceries
and
up.
make a sandwich
And make a sandwich
half
and
of
eat
it.
half of it.
But he had a perfectly good explanation,
Yeah,
man.
so I was like, all right, hey, I thought you were grocery shopping at Walmart. And he's like, bro, man, I walked in and there was a cart and it had all the stuff I was going to get. It was just right there.
Yeah.
And so I just
And
checked
everything
out.
I needed.
He literally said it was everything that I needed. Everything was right there in a cart that someone just magically left. And he's like, I just checked out and came home. And we didn't call him out on it.
But we knew.
We walked out and we were like, why would he lie about that? That's the weirdest thing in the world. Like, if we would have got there and he was like, yeah, I lied about that because I didn't want to bring you your gloves, we would have been like, that's weird, but okay. But the fact that he thought we were dumb enough to believe that, one, he could make it there and back, two, that the Lord sent an angel to fill up this grocery cart full of everything he wanted, it was just laying there right for him.
But the thing about him is, coming to find out,
He's a pathological
he's
liar.
absolutely a pathological liar.
It takes longer than 10 minutes to check out.
Yeah, but and that's what I've learned about pathological liars. They don't think their lie is like sound. They think that you're dumb enough to believe it. And so I don't think we've ever brought it up to him to this day. And that was probably,
I hope you never do.
it was before you were married. So
I hadn't even met her yet, I don't think.
at least 7 years ago.
Yeah, and so, oh man, I had a witty thing to say right here. God dog it, that's the worst.
Tiger got your tongue.
Oof.
I don't even know what that means. But yeah, and ever since that day, I have never talked to or trusted this person again.
Our lease came up, and I knew that. I think prior to that, I had actually started to sour on moving in with him.
Yeah.
Because there were just some weird things. I was just like, because he wanted to like hang out all the time, and I'm very like to myself.
You like to hang out in your room by yourself.
Yes.
But also
alone.
during this time, he was in a not great relationship,
Not a fan of his girlfriend. at
toxic
all.
relationship, and he would tell everyone that they were broken up, and then he would hang out with her 24/7.
She'd stay the night.
And he'd be like, no, we're not together. And we're
Yeah.
like, just admit it. Like, it's fine. Just say it. And he'd be like, nah, bro.
Who was it?
I'm not saying. Just go on from here.
What do you want me to say?
Whatever you want.
Who it
'cause-
was?
No.
How did we get on that?
I don't even remember now.
I don't know.
How did we start talking about him?
It's such a good story.
Hold on.
It's not. I
such
don't
a
have
good
any
story.
notes that pertain back to that story.
No, I'm
at
looking at my
all.
notes and I don't see anything.
We didn't have. I had no notes that would lead to this.
I
What
had
a weird deal.
I had to tell that story for some reason, and everyone's
So
gonna
good.
think we're
Stupid.
out of our minds. But this is
Somebody's going to leave a review saying, they don't know what they're talking about sometimes.
These big dumb idiots.
By the
They'll
way-
go down a rabbit trail and lose their thoughts.
well, we're like on podcast number 2 of the night.
Yeah.
And so
And it's what time is it? We're pushing
10:40.
It's
Yeah.
whatever this says.
It's 10:40.
Yeah, it's
And
getting
so-
late here in West Tennessee.
Again, I don't know what we were talking about.
I feel so stupid.
That story's so long, but it really did like fundamentally change how I felt about a person as a human being.
Oh, maybe that's how we got on it.
We're
Jake,
don't know.
you're just
We're
staring.
not-
I don't know.
You're staring at
So
the
here's-
ceiling.
I'm going to go back and listen to this now so I can...
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to move us along
Let's
because
go.
we sound like lunatics right now.
Let's
so
go.
Hey, leaving the
I
club.
said I'm going to move us along. So leaving the club.
Okay,
um,
okay.
They're split into 2 separate vans.
Van 1 is the fun van, and Van 2 is the fight van.
How
really
long
need-
did you workshop that?
I didn't workshop it. I wrote it down. I thought it and immediately wrote it down, but I had to get it in. I couldn't let you take that away from me.
Well, I definitely did not write that. But I did write Van 1. They were definitely more rowdy drunk, and Van 2 was like definitely more like
All right,
angry
so
drunk.
here's what we had in Van 1. A lot of weird stuff going down. Nani and Anissa with the tongue
Kissing.
action.
Yeah.
By
By the way, you weren't with us when we watched this. In the previews, it shows Anissa kissing a girl, and Hannah's like, "Who is she kissing?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I don't remember that happening." And then it was this episode.
like a few minutes later, we saw Nani, and I was like, Nani? She's supposed to be making out with Kahuna.
well, Kahuna got a cold sore in this episode. Need some Abreva on that thing or something.
Kohutta gets done dirty in this season.
Well, so, okay, so
Yeah.
along with Anissa and Nani tonguing, is that...
Yeah,
Yes.
good verb.
Devin started necking Anissa.
And
I didn't see that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure Preston.
was
Preston
making out
was
with
making out with
birthday girl Johnny.
Johnny.
Happy birthday.
And then Nani's shoving her fist in her mouth.
Oh, and Camilla was too in the back.
Oh, was
Listen,
she?
Yeah.
I had my note said Preston made out with B-Day girl Johnny, and Jess has her fist in her own
That's
mouth.
3 different people.
Wait, Jess had her fist in her mouth too?
It showed Jess twice, and she is trying to force her fist into her mouth as hard as she can, and she's looking around like, what's going on?
Look how loud her audio got turned that.
Should see when I do that, Hannah.
Oh,
God,
Jake.
Jake!
Now you got a big spike right there.
That's not how you do it. I was going to show you how to properly.
No, I
yell.
don't want you to show me how to do it,
By
because
the-
you're going to do that again.
By the way, they didn't ever talk about or explain why.
fisting.
Yeah, don't call it that.
Please, no.
Why they are trying to put their fist in their mouth.
Because one of them, Nani's like just not even looking at anything.
So that's
in the
funny.
back of the bus.
That's funny that we all saw a different person do it.
I wonder if it was just one
They
person.
were like, who can do it the farthest? I don't know.
I wonder if it was just one person and we all thought it was a different person.
Should we give it a try right now?
I can't do it. There's no way.
Let me see.
I have big hands, man. There's no way.
Let me see.
I have extremely large
goes.
hands for a girl.
It's gonna hurt. I can
It
feel it
doesn't
already.
make sense.
I can't, dude. I got like
You've got big, meaty German hands.
the big like the knuckles of like my first 3 fingers in, and like I can't go much more
Jake.
than that.
My hands aren't big, but I have a little mouth.
You do have a little mouth.
I got a little.
You've got a. Your head is little.
Well, the funny thing is, as a kid, I had a big head, so my head got adult sized at like 7.
And
So-
then your body caught up.
Right.
You look like Bobby from Bobby's World.
That's right.
It's a very obscure reference.
All right, so is it my turn? Am I giving this a
Yeah.
try?
Yeah, I can't do
And
it.
you're going next, right?
Nope.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. Because Nani and
Zach's going
Jess
again.
already did it for
Hey,
me.
you can stick your fingers down your mouth. Are you trying to gag yourself?
No, I'm trying to see if I can get that pinky in. I can't.
Your hands are too big. Hold on. I want
I can't breathe.
Please.
No, and then you got your fingers spread out. No, you're doing it wrong. God, don't wipe it off.
That's pretty freaking close, man. That hurt.
Back away. You're not doing it right.
You see the indentions in my teeth, in my knuckles. I don't think I've ever been able to do that, but I finagled my way in there.
God, what a word. Finagled.
I didn't feel like I was gonna gag.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Well, my fingers were bent, so I wasn't going far back.
I know you didn't do it right.
Oh no, I did. It was a fist.
That's as far as I can go.
Yeah, I couldn't get past like the
feels like my mouth's ripping open.
like you remember like when you're like asleep and you're
I felt like a fatality.
you remember when you're
Do it again.
it's
Do
fine.
it again. I can get a picture of
Why of me?
I got one of him.
All right. What are you doing with this?
It's for Vine.
No,
you
it's
putting
for
it on
our
Vine?
patrons.
It's for our new TikTok
Are you putting it on
account.
Slack? Oh, we should make a TikTok
We're
account.
not doing TikTok.
I'm gonna Slack everybody with this picture.
All right,
Guys, we're so off topic.
Carry us in
right
while
now.
I stick my fist in my mouth.
So while Jake's fisting himself, we see CT get really mad at Jordan and Van too, because Jordan's just kind of aggressive at most of the time.
Mad all the time.
And so
Mad.
he's got Laurel in his lap, if I remember correctly, and him and Johnny are going at it, and he's telling them to like not be loud, and they're like,
He was telling them, he's like, God, just shut up already.
yeah, and then
they got mad about that.
well, Johnny was like, typically I'd jump in here, but he woke up the bear and CT, and like this was like when CT was still huge, and
Yeah, he was.
not like
He
dad
was-
bod CT,
But he was big.
yeah, like you don't want to mess with CT in this era, and of course Jordan would be the one to do it. But yeah, it was weird. Is like Van 2 was just like everyone's wanting to kill each other. Van 1 is like, hey, let's
all
fist
make
our
out.
mouths. And everyone
Everybody
Don't
have
call
fun.
it that.
yeah. So we
CT said, sign that release.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
he did.
I forgot about that. I wrote it as a quote. He's like Jordan. He's like sign that release. He's like, I'll knock you out right now. You know, Jordan would never do that. Although,
No.
actually,
Do you think he would have been dumb enough at this point?
I feel like Jordan is so prideful, especially in this season. He'd be like, I could knock out CT. Because again, we'll see.
CT's still in his prime, I would say. I
Yeah.
don't think he's really hit that decline yet. At
I'm
this
pretty
point.
sure you argued at the first episode
You
that
did,
he wasn't in
Han.
his prime.
You actually did.
Because Statman Paul was like, not,
you
not
think
in my
I
Slack
remember
group.
that?
Finger wag with it. Yeah.
He sent us. He made his own GIF of him finger wagging, and he's like, mm-mm.
yeah.
That's
Actually,
fine.
I don't know what he looks like, but we know what his dog looks like.
Yep.
Hey, Paul, send us a picture of your face and body,
That's weird.
yeah, so we can use
I
it
don't-
later.
Can he legally do that since he's a lawyer?
No,
He
lawyers
can
are
legally do anything he
they're like-
wants because he's a lawyer.
they're like vampires. You're not allowed to have pictures of them.
That
he
sounds
also
right.
can't look at himself in the mirror.
Oh, that's terrible.
Also,
it's real bad if he's handsome.
also, if you want to kill him, you have to use a wooden stake and garlic.
But in the wooden stake, you have to engrave false facts.
So he's not wearing any cross necklaces or anything,
Only when he's feeling risky.
or
Or
nor does he,
risque.
nor does he have any crosses tattooed on him, because that's a thing.
I can't verify that. I've never seen his body. Paul, please send us your body.
I don't like this.
Paul, please mail yourself to our house.
He's gonna sue us over this,
So
and he'll win because he's a lawyer.
Hashtag lawyered.
so we get into the daily, which, by the way, if they gave it an official name, I missed it. Because,
Smarty pants.
Because I was tweeting from our account that we're recording 2 podcasts tonight.
Smarty pants.
Yeah, it's the trivia challenge. It's TJ's favorite challenge of the season. And we kind of got screwed on that in War of the Worlds. We didn't get a true trivia challenge like this, like a fun, hey, look how dumb these people are.
Yeah.
TJ's having the time of his
Right.
life. He'll fake you out. He'll be like, no, how could you? That's great. You got it right. And
He has way too much fun with these.
it's the best. It's my favorite daily challenge.
There's one point towards the end of this where he starts laughing so hard he just sticks his tongue out of his mouth.
Ah.
I don't know if anybody else saw that. I was like, that must be really funny.
I remember when it was over too.
So it's 2 X's and you're out, which is a different take on some of the other times they've done it. Sometimes it's just like you miss it, you're gone.
Yeah.
Leroy gets the first X. I'm pretty sure he was the first question.
He was the first
And,
question. That's how they started out.
Ironically, but not really, he's also the first to fall.
Hey, did anybody see CT's calves and his thigh muscles?
I didn't. It wasn't.
I did. It was hard not to see because they're big. They're so big.
I didn't see him. Was he the one that got calf implants in True Life? I got calf implants, which
Maybe.
was we I just realized we didn't talk about in this podcast. It was in the Rock of Love podcast.
Maybe we shouldn't do 2 podcasts back to back anymore.
It is hard to keep them together, and and by together I mean keep them apart. And
hey, did you know that Johnny Bananas thinks that Australians speak Dutch?
it's possibly the dumbest answer ever given in the trivia challenge.
In the history of the challenge.
Well, I mean, sure, but in the trivia challenge for sure because it's Australia. I'm pretty sure. Have they done a challenge? They've had to have done a challenge in Australia.
Had to have.
I mean, we had a whole Real World season in Australia.
Right.
Kohutta was part of that.
Sydney,
Isaac
yeah.
was part of that. And so they were there. I guess Johnny's was Real World Key West, and so that wasn't like out of the country or anything. But again, I don't know where Dutch came from, but
Yeah, it's like the question caught him off guard and he's like, Dutch.
yeah. Again, one of the worst answers, and I think he still kind of jokes about it to this day. The only thing that's Leroy fell off next, but the only thing that I had after that before we get into the girls' heat, which we can talk a little bit more, but Jordan's eliminated. He has to do, and I said it to Hannah, and then Johnny kind of backed me up. He's like, "Oh, he had to do the most over the top thing."
Showboating.
Yeah, he backflipped off of it,
Yeah, my note just said everybody hates Jordan.
except Laurel.
Yeah, except Laurel. But also, I had a couple other notes from the boys.
Yeah, that's fine. I just didn't write anything else down.
I was not going to let us move on until I got to this. My boy Zach. Nobody else ever knows my favorite princess, Aurora. And I feel so validated and seen that he was like, she's my favorite princess. I didn't want to get all fancy and over the top by saying Aurora. I thought Sleeping Beauty would do it. I mean, she's been my favorite princess my whole life. And people, when you're in school, everybody's like, oh, who's your favorite Disney princess? And I would say Aurora. And they're like, who's that?
Yeah, if I'm being 100% honest,
Not a clue.
I didn't know that was the name of Sleeping Beauty until the Funko Pop came out, and Hannah had to have all 3 of the ones that they made,
Including the chase.
Yeah,
There's the regular one, the one with the glitter dress, and then the blue one.
Yeah, and I was didn't know that her name was Aurora. Had no idea.
Princess Aurora. She's the best of all the princesses. Also, really good quote from Zach. I have a lot of muscles, and my brain happens to be the strongest one.
You wouldn't pick him to be the favorite in this challenge, I don't think. And, he wins.
I just, did you guys see Cohotta's cold sore?
I didn't.
No, I never
really
saw
didn't.
it one time.
Man, dude. I think he had a couple.
You're really fixated on that.
He must have had a good time for his birthday.
We don't know how long ago that was.
He got kissed by a lot of different people.
Hey,
That'll do it.
You know who had a lot of cold sores? Your brother that we don't talk to anymore.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Shout out to him, man. Wherever he's at.
Anytime he would drink like something in an aluminum can,
Yeah.
he'd oh, I feel it. I got one coming. I was like, all right,
That's
man.
so weird.
And he scrunches his face. I remember the whole. Yep. Golly, Bill.
Yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink after him because I don't want that ever.
I don't drink after anybody unless I'm making out with you. I don't drink.
And then he'll drink
When
it
do
right
you
out of your mouth.
Make out with Zach?
Well, I don't make out with him, but
Not anymore.
it's like my ex-wife. She was the only person I'd ever drink after. Now I won't because we don't make out anymore. But I guess it'd be okay.
You drink after her now?
Yeah.
Familiar
You
water.
would? You would drink after her now?
Yeah,
You don't
why
know-
not?
hey.
I wouldn't.
You don't know where that mouth's been.
I'm not saying she's gross. I'm just saying
Hey, I'm not saying she's not gross. We don't know. We just don't know.
Hey, we don't know.
She might have really gotten into licking toilets.
ASMR
no.
or
I mean,
something.
ASMR, same thing.
She's dating another guy, and I don't know where he's been.
Licking toilets, ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all on the same page, guys.
Hope she's doing well, though.
Yeah. Well, Zach drinks after me all the time, especially when I don't.
God, it's dead gummits. Is it good?
You're in
Yeah.
the worst position.
He drinks after me all the time,
Well,
especially
you
when
guys
I don't.
make out all the
no,
time.
no, we don't. He drinks after me
Yeah, what do you...
when I don't want him to. Like if I have a drink that I'm really like enjoying, he'll just take it and start drinking it.
Yeah, I'm like, I bet you like this, don't you?
That's exactly what he says.
I say it while I'm drinking.
He says it through the drink,
So-
and so it bubbles up.
So we get into the girl seat after Zach wins, and
What is a continent?
No, not even there. Slow down. The first question is, what is the longest bone in your body? Clearly the femur. Whatever. You may not know that bone. It's a pretty common bone. I'd say it's in the top 10 bones in your body. And
God, we
Femur, funny.
should rank
I
those
would not go
sometime.
femur 1, funny 2. But anyway, she's like, the thigh bone. And the funniest part of this to me is...
She being Camilla. I don't think you said her name.
Yeah, I don't give her a name. She's one we don't speak of.
God.
Hey, I back my boy Brandon up.
And Leroy.
And well, I mean, we don't have that type of relationship.
Yeah, but he's been on the pod before.
on accident.
Right.
Yeah, Camilla says the thigh bone, and then she starts to cry, and then the dumbest part to me was people like, oh, you did really good, and I was like, all she had to do was look at her body and be like, what's the longest one part of my body, and she said the most like generic 3-year-old term for it. I didn't understand why they were giving her accolades for it, but maybe
Yeah,
because
they
she was
clapped for her.
maybe because she was crying, they felt bad. But it's pretty dumb to cry over a femur
Yeah.
unless you shatter it.
I think she was crying over the height.
I think
I
it's
don't
over the
know.
femur, Jake.
Okay. All right.
So no, that was wrong. And
Well, and look, I get there's camera work here, but let's just react off what we saw. TJ wasn't the least bit concerned over her crying.
why would he be?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Great rebuttal. So we get into I don't remember if Car's next, but Car's the next memorable moment from this because, hey, what continent is? I'm pretty sure the United States.
The United
Yeah.
States. And she goes, the United States.
She's like,
continent.
what's a continent? And then she's like, the North.
She said the northern one, and I was
Yeah.
like, the northern hemisphere?
Yeah. Which that actually does come in later.
Yep.
But no, North America. So that's wrong. And I was like, man, I don't know if these people are really dumb sometimes, or if you just get in your head. But even afterwards, she didn't really seem to like say, "Oh, I knew what a continent was. I was just scared."
At least with Leroy, you could tell, like, he was so, like, spaced out. He, like, the fact that he was really high up and over water and he was going to fall.
They're like
he could not think straight.
spelled disguise, DIS.
Guys.
Guys. Like, no, that's not it. So
That was so funny.
kind of ironically, throwback to the guys round, Leroy was the first X, Leroy was the first to fall. Camilla's the first X, Camilla's the first to fall.
Look at that math you just did.
Woo, that was rock hard math. And
you think Brett Michaels would like that math?
Brett Michaels hates anything to do with school.
What's
Just-
that going on?
So, your favorite, Devin, is the one who wins the whole thing.
Hallelujah.
Well, hold on a second.
But I had some other notes before that.
Go for it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Time's up.
Did anybody else notice how hard of a time Nani was having? And she had not even gotten to the first question yet.
She was very scared. And
It was like she was losing her mind.
TJ's like, calm down.
Yeah, he's like, you're not even. He's like,
You don't even have one X yet.
Yeah, he's like, even if you get this one wrong, you're not gonna fall. And she's like, yeah, just give me the question. And she was like her whole body was shaking. But
She tried to stick her fist in her mouth the night before.
Jake, you would appreciate this. Kahutta came up and he said, you know what? I got a whole lot of faith in my little girl, Nani. He called her his little girl.
Again, he's going to get done real dirty
You
in a few episodes.
probably didn't hear it because you're too busy staring at his cold sore.
Hey, it got me. Caught my glance.
Also, I did not know the famous boxer Mahatma Gandhi.
Well, to be fair, you didn't know the real answer to that question either.
Did you know it?
Yeah, Cassius Clay.
Cassius
I knew
Clay.
that one.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
I knew a lot of these, and there was a couple that like really did throw me. And like the like really time specific ones, like who won the 2012 World Series,
I did not know that one.
who was the like UFC middleweight champion. Like at that time, like that's very hard unless you're a very big fan.
The spelling stuff, I got all day. I won spelling bees.
I got most of the spelling stuff.
Grade,
I messed up one of them. I don't remember which one it was.
I'm known for my spelling.
Well, what got me was with the boys going, it came down to Zach and Swift is saying how like this challenge was made for him. He's gonna win this one, and then he misspells a word, and he's like, "I'm so ashamed when I get home. Everybody's gonna make fun of me because I'm the facts guy. I just know all the facts." And I was like, I looked at Zach and I was like, I don't understand. I understand, you know.
I don't understand. I understand.
I don't understand with him why he said that, because if you know a lot of random facts, cool, you're like Zach. But
Me.
yes, like I pointed at Zachary. Knowing how to spell a word is not a fact.
It's kind of.
It's not a fact.
Like I just know how to spell some weird words that like.
I know how to spell a lot of weird words.
But
exacerbate is not a weird word.
But it's not like he's just using like a rule of, okay, when you spell certain sounds, like the English language is very hard to understand. I'm glad I learned it natively, because I can't imagine trying to learn English coming from another country, because it's insane.
But I mean, like when you think of like the facts guy, you ask him, hey, what's a cool fact? The male seahorse is the one that gives birth to all the babies. Not the woman. And so, I mean, knowing how to spell a word is not a fact. It's not a fact.
Jake, what's your
It's not a statement or sentence or science.
It's spelling. What's your favorite cool fact, Jake?
My favorite cool fact.
We're going to hold
Hello?
here.
I feel like I have so many, I can't think of one.
Zach, what's your favorite cool fact?
Oh, man.
It's hard to be put on the spot.
It really is.
Well, you put Jake on the spot.
That's why I did it, because I couldn't think of one.
Well, I gave mine out really quick. Because I do just think about that often.
I got one for you.
What?
What is a race car spelled backwards?
Oh, God, that's not a fact.
Jeff Gordon.
That's not funny.
He's not dead.
No, but there was a rumor going around one time he had died.
Okay. I was like, it
But
didn't say Dale Earnhardt.
He's not dead. He's still
not
alive.
dead. There's your fact. Jeff Gordon is alive.
Here's my fact. Mama Kim is confirmed alive.
Very much so.
There you go.
Yeah. And is very much a mom.
Yeah. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Devin kept her hair dry. And that's what was important.
And again, Statman Paul told us, and I'm not gonna argue with him. This is the season with the Weave funeral. I feel like it would have happened by now.
Oh, no, it's later on.
I can't remember how far we got into it.
I think it's later on.
I mean, it has to be.
Well, here's where Statman Paul can also be confirmed. Anissa can't even fall properly.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, she's actually fallen improperly in another trivia challenge in another season.
Jeez.
Because it's one where they like throw them forward, and she like did a flip and like smacked her face on the ground and cut her lips open.
That's right,
and had to
man.
get stitches.
That was a. Oh, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They were in like a lagoon or something.
Rivals 2,
Oh,
I
I
believe.
remember that.
Yeah.
I thought it was exes.
I don't know.
Maybe it was. It may have been.
Because Johnny and Camilla were partners.
No, because that's the season Mike came in.
Yeah. So Rivals 1.
Was it 1?
Yeah.
Rivals 1.
Then maybe it was. Because I remember Abram was there.
Yeah.
And Kara.
Yeah. It again, she does have a history of falling improperly.
Boy, I bet
Maybe that was
Statman
it.
Paul just loved that.
Who knows?
Loved
Somebody's
watching
gonna
her fall the wrong
Somebody's
way.
gonna tell us we don't know anything.
There's a trivia challenge in every season.
No, well, not nowadays.
So
Typically there is.
So Anissa continues to terrify the competitors.
Yes. And
Okay.
so Devin wins, Zach wins. They get to decide who they are sending into elimination, and it can't be the first 4 that fell because those are automatically going in the draw from the guys and the girls.
Right.
So Devin is talking to Teresa, is like, hey, I wouldn't throw you in. We're friends, blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, you know.
Well, she tells Teresa that she's going to throw in Laurel because she's like, I said her name the first time, and I think I kind of skirted under the radar because a lot of other people said her name. And she told Teresa, she's like, I'm just going to say it again and get it over with.
Yeah, and so she also said, like, I can't these people are already in the draw, and I can't throw this person in for... She gave a few reasons, so it basically came down to Teresa and Laurel. And she's like, I'm friends with Teresa, so I'm going to throw Laurel in.
Yeah.
And so she goes to Laurel, and Laurel basically completely outmanipulates her in this.
Yeah.
And,
strong arms her.
Yeah, and basically, you know what it reminded me of? Because she basically makes a list, like a hit list, of everyone in the house, and is like, this person would be first, this one would be second. She's like, you're like fifth. And by the way, fifth was not the lowest.
No.
But she was straight up, she's like, you'd be fifth out of all these people. It reminded me of that scene in Billy Madison where he calls the people that he bullied, and it's Steve Buscemi, and he's at home, and he's got a list of people he's going to kill. And since Billy Madison apologized, he marked his name off the list and then puts lipstick all over him. Turns out later, he shoots a guy for Billy Madison.
Yeah.
So maybe Laurel's going to shoot a guy for Devin.
I don't know. Don't know about that one.
You guys tell me you don't think Laurel's going to shoot a guy later in this season.
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think it's very likely.
All right, Jake, if she doesn't shoot a guy, I get $100.
Not for me, you don't.
And then I get $100 also because we're married, so that's $200.
You get...
Because there's 2 people, so you have to double it.
No.
You have to multiply it by 2. That's the rule.
If she doesn't kill anybody...
Oh, I didn't say kill.
He didn't say kill.
Shoot
Okay.
somebody. Are we talking about in the leg or something?
Anywhere.
All right.
In the heart.
I get to go on...
Verbally,
I get to go on a
emotionally?
vacation with you guys.
Okay, so
Well,
all
you're
these...
not going on the next one.
Which one is that?
Colorado in October.
I absolutely will.
You are not going.
You want me to go, Zach?
It's already booked. Our rooms are
I
already
don't care.
booked.
I
You
can
don't
get
have a plane ticket.
I can buy a plane ticket.
No.
I can.
No.
You're not allowed.
You are not
Am
going.
I not allowed?
I don't know.
Do you want me to come?
Well,
no,
this is a family
it's the
trip.
family vacation that we take.
I used to live in your house.
It doesn't
That's true.
matter.
With your family.
We take this trip once a year.
It'd be weird if you lived in the house not with my family.
That's true.
I
I had all your dad's Chips Ahoy cookies.
But he got upset about that.
He did.
don't
'Cause
remember.
I know him. Whenever I go to their house, I will rummage through the pantry and I'll look for his cookies.
Yeah.
I'll pick out like 4 or 5 different cookies, but I won't get them all in a row. I'll pick like one at the top of the row, one in the middle, one in the bottom, one in the next row.
Well,
He never knows.
the trick is to find the ones with the most chocolate chips in it.
Absolutely. I
That's
pick
the
those out
trick.
first.
Yeah.
So, we get into the
Hey.
nominations.
Before that, Devin is talking about throwing in Laurel. She's like, I just gotta do it. This is a good quote. She said, just like I told my plastic surgeon, go big or go home. And then she grabbed her boobs.
I didn't know she had fake boobs. Forgot that.
Well, there's your fact.
Yeah. There you
Devin
go.
has fake boobs. Yeah.
Also,
I didn't know that. Like they looked like proportional to her. They looked normal, and so I didn't
this
know.
little black dress on her is so stinking cute. Her hair slicked back in a tight little bun. This is my favorite Devin look of all time in the whole history of Devin's life. It's just so flattering on her. She looks like a ballerina.
I've never done this before.
And I love it.
But I'm going to do it to you, Han.
What?
I'm capping all Devin talk the rest of the way forward. Hello, who did that?
Oh,
Not me.
You started talking to my watch.
Is its name Devin?
No.
That'd be really weird.
We are capping all Devin talk for you going forward.
Hey,
Can we do that?
I didn't have
that's
any.
fine.
Well,
I mean, she doesn't do anything else the rest of this episode.
I had one more note.
Well, you've reached your limit.
Listen, I just had to get that in there. She looked amazing in this little black dress. With
So
her,
we get
with her
into
bun
the
bun. Even Zach
nomination-
said he liked it. He likes her hair like that.
So we get into the nominations, and basically Zach's like, "Hey, I'm voting Swift," because he's basically like, he doesn't matter. Who cares?
Well,
And Swift's like, well, I'm one of the top 3 strongest guys here, so
Yeah.
Easy.
He said easily
Goofy.
top 3 strongest dudes in the house.
That's just goofy.
that is
Like, Zach and I gave each other a look. We're like, oh, nope. Not even close.
That's just
I mean,
goofy.
just off the top of my head, CT for sure.
Johnny
Johnny.
Bananas.
Johnny Bananas.
Jordan.
Johnny Riley.
Johnny or Leroy, like any of these guys.
Zach.
Yeah. Like I can't even.
Preston.
TJ. I mean,
You'd put Preston above.
he's
Preston's
not
Swift.
stronger.
That was all of last week's episode. Preston, you always pick Preston before Swift.
But Preston's not stronger than Swift. There's no way. Swift does have like legitimate like upper body strength. He's
I
just
don't
like
know.
5'6".
He does have muscles.
Yeah.
He has muscles, but I mean, it may be like Corey, whoever called him popcorn muscles, because I mean he hasn't been able to show us very much.
Well, then we get into the unmentioned one, her nomination, and she Laurel's persuasion worked, and so she picks Teresa.
She goes back on her promise to Teresa.
Well,
and
she's
throws her in.
like this person has proven that they are not being trustworthy, and they've changed their mind, and so I'm it's nothing personal, but I'm putting you in, and she puts Teresa in.
Teresa's mad, but call back to what she said earlier. She's like, I forgive, but I don't forget.
Well, Teresa noticeably taller than Swift. I don't know how tall Teresa is, but I mean, she got to be like 5'9" or something like that.
She's got to be taller than Swift.
I literally just said that. So we go to the draw. Basically, some people flip. CT doesn't even look. Like, flips it, walks off.
Like, it's in one motion. He doesn't stop to flip it. He just does it as he's walking away.
I like it.
It's a good move. I mean, I think statistically he had the best chance as first person to go. But, again, good move. It's like, I'm out of here. I don't care. And so it comes down, Jordan and Camilla are the ones that draw the skull. And so I don't remember if Camilla was crying at this point. I don't know. She cried a bunch of times in this episode.
Weird Camilla crying episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not a drunk crying episode either.
Just crying.
Like, she was
Yeah.
just emotional.
So we see what it is. It's already the same elimination we've seen with
And
Kara and Hurricane
Naya.
Naya.
real quick, I just, look, I like to make sure we're covered, right? We're advocates for crying. If you've got to cry,
I'm just not an advocate for Camilla.
okay, if you've got to cry. Is that fair to say?
Unless it's about femurs.
No, you're
Unless you
right.
shatter yours.
If you shatter it, you can cry.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's
if you're
gotta
not
hurt.
sure what it's called, not a good reason to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, we saw this. I think this was the night that Frank got sent home initially, so there wasn't a guy's version of this the first time around
That's right.
because no one drew the
that's
skull.
right. Uh-huh.
And so we've only seen this once, and it was Kara.
Well, they had a rope this time. They didn't have a rope last time.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember. I was like, I think they made the ropes longer. They made some modifications to this game, clearly, because basically Naya and Kara were at a stalemate for 75 minutes. Nothing to pull on. And so what I told Hannah, I was like, they had to have made these ropes longer because in the last one, like, those people weren't near ropes at any point. But you're right. They just completely added a whole new element to it. They also gave them padded shoulder straps.
It should have been there to begin with.
They should have been because
Yeah.
Kara and them afterwards, like, their shoulders were done. But I don't know if you noticed, Swift and Teresa were not paying attention when they put their harnesses on, and their padding went all the way to the back.
Their padding was not on their shoulders; it was behind their shoulders before they started the challenge.
And so, whenever they were getting all that force pulled on them, the padding wasn't helping at all.
because it was basically the same as not being there.
Yeah. So the guys start, and they run, and immediately Jordan gets to the rope. Swift doesn't. And so Jordan's got the upper hand. I mean, I think he would have won regardless, but maybe if Swift got to the rope and Jordan couldn't, because Swift does have a lot of upper body strength, but Jordan just beat him. Like, that was, especially considering the last time we saw this elimination.
That
like,
elimination was over in like 10 seconds.
yeah, it was quick. And so
I mean, like, of course, Jordan's like really pumped about that, and he's like, whoo, yeah, yelling and stuff. And Bananas is like, this is not something you brag about.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I get Swift is not a huge name, but I mean, if Johnny would have beat him, he would have been like, yeah, that's what I'd do to you too. Like it's a two-sided
I
thing.
get it. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not something you could brag about, because I mean, it was impressive how quickly it was over.
Yeah, and
like smoked him, and you could tell Swift was really.
I don't think we see Swift again after this.
No, this is it.
Yeah,
This is it.
But he was not happy. This is how he went out.
So we see the girls line up again. Teresa's pads are too far back. Right before that is when I was like, "Is the rope longer?" So I was wondering if the rope coming from the bell is longer. Turns out, yes, it was 100% longer because it wasn't there to begin with. But I thought maybe they lengthened the rope between them too, so that they could get closer to the bells each, so we didn't have a 75+ minute stall out where.
I mean, it's possible they did that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. But the girls go, they both get to the ropes. They're both holding on to the rope. However, Teresa just kind of digs in more. And I thought, because if I'm being honest, I didn't remember who won this elimination.
I didn't either.
And so I was like, her pads are not on her shoulders. She's just got that nylon strap digging into her. I was like, Camilla might outlast her. Turns out, guess what? It's on theme. Camilla's going to cry again. And I know this elimination sucks, but she didn't go through nearly like what Cara and Nia went through. And
No, and like not only was it weird to us, but it was weird to everyone there that like Camilla didn't even really fight for this.
Yeah, some of them said like she just gave up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's weird. And Teresa won.
Her first elimination.
Yeah,
win.
I didn't know that, but I don't know what her record before this is.
Oh.
Not good, obviously.
Well, let's find that out here.
Yeah, go on that challenge Wikia.
Yeah.
And is this her only elimination win? I don't remember how many seasons she does after this. I think she does a couple more, though.
Let's see. I'm about to have an answer for you.
I'm waiting.
How soon?
All right, here we go. So, prior to this, she was on Fresh Meat 2.
Mm-hmm. That's where she got her start. That's where she hooked up with Wes and Kenny.
Wes and Kenny?
We watched this season together.
I know. I knew she hooked up with Wes. I didn't know she got Kenny,
Yeah,
too.
that's what got their rivalry that season going even more, was Kenny hooked up with her first, and he's like, Wes, you got the leftovers.
So it looks like, okay, so Fresh Meat 2, Teresa, lasted till episode 9 out of 10.
But who was she? She was partnered with
Ryan.
They made it that far?
Yeah.
Man.
They got put out by
good for them. I liked Ryan.
Jen and Noor.
Yeah. I liked Ryan.
Oh, I liked Noor.
And then in Cutthroat, she made it to episode 8 out of 9, got put out by Tori, who we just recently had on not too long ago.
Tori Hall.
And then Rivals didn't last too long. Her partner was Camilla.
Huh, that's a strong team.
They got put out by Cara and Laurel.
A much stronger team.
Because that's the elimination where they tried to act like they were, Camilla and Teresa were like kind of done, whatever, but really they were like, we're psyching them out.
Oh, they were like saying they were going to throw it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Rivals 2, she was with Jasmine. She made it to episode 6.
Still pretty far.
And got put out by Camilla and Jimmy.
Okay.
Which Camilla and Jimmy made it to the final.
Yeah, that's a much stronger team than her and Jasmine.
And of course, she won this elimination on Free Agents. And then the last one she was on was Battle of the Exes 2, which she was teamed up with Wes.
Yeah.
Made it to episode 9 out of 12. So she has a track record of going pretty far.
Far. She just doesn't go into eliminations.
Other than Rivals, which you got put out by the team that won the thing, right?
I think people always see her as a strong, athletic competitor. She's tall. She's in shape. She's very good at basketball. And like she that's a good track record. Like, I mean, her eliminations are not good.
Yeah, she has 2 wins and 6 losses.
Yeah, I mean, she loses 3 for every 1 she wins.
Yeah.
But I mean, she makes it pretty far, but I guess it's just by staying out of eliminations.
Yeah.
Which in itself is a really good strategy if you can do it. I mean, that's how Johnny got by for many, many years. But I always kind of liked Teresa. Very not smart in a lot of things she did this season, but she came out, she won, she beat Camilla, and Camilla usually is not an easy out, but she did kind of give up this season.
Yeah, she literally just gave up.
So the only other thing I had to talk about was, apparently on Amazon it's not showing all of these like post-credit things, but they have this like weird pregnancy talk about Laurel, how
like everybody in the house thinks that she's pregnant and that's why she's so like manic.
I don't know, but like everyone's like, yeah, Laurel's gonna have a baby. I don't know where it came from, what started it, but for like 30 seconds while they're showing credits, they're talking about Laurel being pregnant, and Johnny says a not nice joke about Jordan again, and it's weird and like things like that. Do you remember when they showed the whoop? They should have shown like those after the seasons.
I like what you did there.
But you know what I'm talking about?
The whoop they should have showed.
We're juggalos, so we whoop.
Yeah.
No. So you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I don't.
They used to do these recaps after the season before the reunion, but after the finale, they were called and then it's a bunch of like expletive symbols, the S word they should have shown.
No, it's the whoop they should have showed.
Yeah. I do know what you're
and
talking
it's
about
all
now.
just like weird behind the scenes stuff that didn't make it into like the story edit.
It's like pulling pranks on each other, or like commentary, or somebody like having a secret talk about somebody else.
A lot of people on Reddit and like the Facebook groups or whatever really want them to bring that back instead of having 2-part reunions. They're like, give us one of those, give us a 1-part reunion, and just be done with it.
Oh, I'd be great with that.
That'd be a fun recap.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I would like that, especially with some of these new people that we haven't seen anything like that before.
I want to see more from them.
But yeah, honestly, I thought going into this episode it was going to be Johnny versus Jordan at the end.
No, that's not what happened.
I know, but they teased it real hard last episode, and I was like, oh, they're setting it up for this one. Not what happens.
Nope.
So
They tricked you.
they did. They got me.
They bamboozled you.
So let's get into superlatives for the night. Who smashed some heads?
Devin, multiple times this
You
episode.
can't say her
I can't.
name.
I
Jake,
can't.
Jake,
listen, for superlatives, I can.
Hey, I'm letting him decide.
You capped out.
You're capped out.
I don't care.
I'm gonna just beep out that whole thing you
I
just
don't care.
said.
Will you? Will
Yeah.
you put a beep over that?
Yeah. It's just gonna be.
She deserves it because she won out of all the females that daily challenge, and nobody expected that.
Jake, I gotta defer to you.
I mean, we're talking trivia here. It's reasonably anybody's game, right?
Yeah.
So, beep it out. Beep it out.
Well, even if you're not going to count that, she smashed Teresa's head.
It's still Devin. It's still the same answer.
You better-
I know. I mean,
beep-
it's the same. It's the same person, but I had two big reasons to back it up.
Was it her boobs?
No, because those were go big or go home, as she told her plastic surgeon.
I'm going to go with CT, and here's why.
Uh-huh.
Because he threatened to smash some heads
He
tonight.
did.
He
He
did.
wanted someone to sign a release.
Right.
So that he could.
Because
So
this
in
is
the
post-duel too.
In the spirit of our podcast, the fact that he threatened
But
to
like
smash some heads.
in a way that he would not be legally responsible.
Right, which is a smart way.
It is. It's much smarter than old CT.
I think even Statman Paul, Lawyer Paul.
He'd represent him.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. And so I'm going to go at TJ because it is his favorite time of the year. I think he
It's
likes
like
it.
Christmas for
no,
him.
I think he likes it more than Christmas.
Okay.
And again, he love pulling that rope and faking people out and be like, wow, you did it. And then they're gone.
You got it wrong.
Yeah. And
Good job.
Probably a close second behind sex for him. Don't you think?
you
I
know,
think it may be a first. Like number
God.
one, He laughed so hard he stuck his tongue out.
When have you ever done that having sex?
Stuck my tongue out?
You laughed so hard.
Laughing so hard you stick your tongue out.
During
Ew,
sex?
What?
Yeah.
Why did you make that noise?
That's what I assume TJ sounded like up there.
I don't think I've laughed during sex. I don't think I've done that.
Well, I'm picked TJ because it's his favorite thing. So who got their head smashed?
Bananas by the Australians that don't speak Dutch.
And shout out to the Australians, man.
All right. Way to go, guys.
You did it.
I'm waiting on you to give your answer.
Well, they listen.
Yeah, we do. Like we legitimately have enough listeners in Australia.
We appreciate Australia,
that
man.
it on our Podbean demographics, the U.S. is broken up by states because we have. That's where honestly 85% of our listenership comes from. But we have enough in Canada that it's broken down by provinces. Providence is the last name of someone we know. Providences. And now Canada, I'm sorry, Australia is broken. I don't know what they are. States.
They're not Dutch.
Well, yeah, they're definitely not Dutch, but territories.
I think it's territories, but it's like states.
That sounds right, but also it sounds very wrong.
I think I think I've seen people call it territories.
Can I give my who's?
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Smashed?
Yeah.
Kahutta.
And he's gonna get it smashed real
Whose
bad.
head did he smash?
No,
Well,
we've already done that one.
His got smashed.
Oh,
Did you
that's
see that
right.
cold sore?
No, we did not see the cold
Go back
sore.
and look right before the daily gets started. Go back and look at those multiple cold sores on his mouth. They're bad.
Do you think he got sick or caught a rash or something?
No, I think he had fun on his birthday.
Okay.
Well, that happens. It's a form of herpes.
It is.
It is.
But it also is like, I was watching something, and I don't remember what it was, but it was someone talking about like 90% of the population has herpes and of some degree, and so they're like, hey, like if you think you need to get tested, but like if you're gonna go in for an STD test, like just be prepared. You're probably gonna come back positive for herpes, even if it's not the form that you think it is. Just like most people have it. It's
the cold sore.
Yeah, your brother had cold sores that would flare up all the time. It wasn't because he was that we know of.
It wasn't because he was sexually transmitted.
No.
That we know of.
Right.
And
I used to get cold sores all the time because when I was in middle school, I went to camp with my best friend, and I had never drank after anybody in my whole life. And we were at camp. It was a hot day in the middle of the summer. I had nothing to drink. She had half a Mountain Dew, and she's like, just drink this. And I was like, I'm not supposed to drink after other people. Mom told me not to do that. And she's like, I promise it's fine. And then I got a cold sore by the end of the week.
Lies.
She set her up.
Lies.
Yeah.
I have pictures to prove it.
I'm gonna get a little bit esoteric on this.
Esocaris?
Yeah, esocaris.
Okay.
Eccentric?
No, what I said is a word. I'm gonna say the person who got their head smashed was your roommate, because from then on out I could never look at him the same again, and I told that dumb long story that none of us still know why I told it, if we're being all honest.
So our heads got smashed.
Yeah.
We smashed our own heads.
So
I think we did.
And in turn smashed our poor listeners' heads by making them listen to us say what made us tell the story.
Someone that's going to listen to this is going to be furious at the end of that story. That they're going to be like, you were talking about this. It was this. This is what led to it.
Somebody's going to be yelling.
And we're just like, I don't know. What was it?
We can't figure it out.
And then you'll have the one over here that's yelling incoherence.
Who's that?
I don't know. Let's just say it's
You activated her cough.
let's just say it's Grimm.
Okay.
Why do you have to call him out?
Well, he's a patron, so he had it
Okay.
coming.
Yeah, we know names. I've said, I called in our last Rock of Love recap. I said specifically one of our patrons is really into cougars. I just assumed that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm down for it
for sure."
And I was like, "Perfect."
Yeah.
So maybe we're like pretty good at like seeing that in people.
Well, if anything, that tells you the kind of relationships we build over at www.patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast.
Yes.
We know what you're into.
Specifically, we definitely do. Specifically in our Slack group, which, just check out our Patreon tiers. Again, Jake said it. For some reason, he included the www at the beginning. And patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. Or if you forget that, smashingheadspodcast.com. Just go to our website. Our link to our patrons right there. And
join our Slack group.
Yeah, it's
so fun.
It's really fun.
We every now and then we'll give sneak peeks of the upcoming episode before it's released.
Paul, I'm still waiting for you to send us your body. And
in the mail.
Jake,
we have a lot of fun in our Slack group.
I think it's invasive.
I'll get him to sign a
I
waiver.
think it's invasive to ask for Paul's body.
We talk about all kinds of different things. It's like a big community, almost like a family. We really love corn dogs.
No, we don't.
We brainstorm in that group. Like when we have ideas about things, we'll kind of talk to the other patrons about it, see what they think, if they think we should do it or do something different. They have ideas that they give to us, and I mean it's vastly, rapidly changing the
society.
course of the future.
Yeah, because
of this
we're gonna
podcast.
We're gonna revamp our Patreon tiers pretty soon. Just trying to, again, we're new to this, see what works, what didn't work out. One of the big things we used to do, which we haven't done in a long time, we really need to do it. When we used to record weekly, the live recaps of like War of the Worlds, and even before that, we go live on Instagram a lot. We haven't done that in a long time. And
it's been a busy summer, man.
It has been a very busy summer for all of us.
Extremely busy.
We've not been home
we don't
all
sleep.
summer.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this. We don't sleep no more.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was during this podcast or during the last podcast
because we don't sleep.
Yeah. Again, it's something we enjoy doing, but we do need to like start doing some more lives and things like that. But we're just excited about the next season and have no idea when it's starting. We don't want you to tell us if you know. We want an official word from MTV, but we're gonna keep rocking these free agents episodes,
and we're gonna keep loving Brett Michaels.
We're definitely gonna keep doing that on Patreon.
Even
yeah,
we're gonna keep rocking. I said we're gonna keep loving.
Even if the new season premieres in like 2 weeks, we're still gonna knock out all these free agents episodes, and we're still gonna keep going through Rock of Love on our Watching Heads show because it's just a different type of show. We have fun doing it, and then we're still gonna be doing the Redemption House podcast, and that's just another show that we do, and we do interviews with our patrons every so often, and so again, we have a lot of stuff planned. We are going to try to revamp some things, but again, if you're here and you're sticking with us through this off season, we clearly love all of you guys.
Yes, we do.
And we may not say that enough, but one thing we haven't talked about in a while is rating and reviewing the show definitely helps us get to new listeners, things like that. And so we haven't talked about that in a while. That'd be really great if you haven't done that.
But don't give us like a 1-star review and say that we're awful. Just say it to our faces instead.
Yeah, I'd rather have those in an email.
Yeah, just email us.
Because we'd like to know why we suck.
Yeah, tell us what you don't like if you don't like it. Again, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com, or there's a contact form on our website.
Look at you.
And so, yeah, you could do that. But, again, the ratings and reviews really do help. And, we've got some other things planned. And you know what? I was going to put this on Twitter. I haven't done it yet. If you want, we have stickers and stuff. If you are interested in buying stickers, email us, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. We'll do them shipped for $3, or we'll do 2 for $5. And or, as a special incentive, if you join our Patreon and
get it anyway.
Pledge to the $5 tier or the $10 tier, you get them anyway. $10 tier gets an extra something special. But yeah, you can do that, plus get a backlog of all the stuff we've been doing on Patreon, and we got a pretty decent little backlog going right now. Been doing it for a few months, and promise at least 2 bonus podcasts a month. but we're way past that now. Like we're rolling through that.
Yeah.
Even with the busy summer.
Yep.
I gotta get some sleep. My eyes are gone.
Yeah,
Did you see what was happening?
They were
Yeah,
like
you're
bloodshot. Yeah, let's wrap this up so I can get to my cereal.
Hey. Have a good night, everyone.